Good evening, everybody. Hope you're all doing fantastically well. It's a nice evening. It is a nice evening. What's going on in your world? Make sure you check out the video this morning. Which way are we going today? We'll go right. Oh, there's a runners club ahead of me. Reason I gave up running: bad knees. Everybody, don't listen. Do not look. I'm 30 plus. Yes, I know I don't look it. I know I look about 24. You don't need to scream it in the comment section, but don't run, everyone. That would be my advice. Cripples your knees later on in life as well. Just don't do it. You know, tried to force myself to do it again. Bad idea. Just cycle, do something like that. Less load. Anyway, fitness updates with Connor. Maybe a separate channel one day. Who knows? Anyway, hope you're all doing really well. Hope your day's gone okay. At least we're seeing not blue skies, but as I gaze upon an aeroplane in the sky, at least we're seeing some overcast skies, but with breakouts of sunny spells. But please check out my video earlier on with Christopher Beasley of the Everton and Liverpool Echo, speaking respectively on those two clubs. Chris is fantastic, very good at what he does, a very articulate reporter, and someone who really delves and has delved into the Willie Gnonto situation, the Jack Harrison situation, and the Sean Dyche situation, really, what the gaffer wants, and he's established a really good close connection with Everton over the years. So it's a really good video this morning, so make sure you check that out for your updated news on Mr. Wilfred Gnonto. Of such, it's probably the most updated thing you've got today when it comes to Willie Gnonto, my video with Chris, because everything else is just quiet. So make sure you check that out, everybody. But we're here, it's almost like a message to Leeds fans, and I guess a bit of advice from years of doing this, rumour mill, and us having this consistent problem with when we're getting signings in and why we're getting signings in at a particular point. And I've done a video earlier on with Gabe across the pond. Please check it out on the Patreon as well. And we dive into this, but I think we've got to be patient. I think what we're seeing so far with Leeds United is it's what we've wanted for years. We've wanted a gutting of this side. We've wanted certain personnel to be moved on. We've wanted the level of financial responsibility to be at least a professional level, of which it's been previously vibes, it's been previously very much based on feeling at the time, and it's not been good enough, simply. And it's been way too transparent with the fan base. We've wanted the running of a professional club, which we've got now. We wanted a shut-up shop when it comes to news transfers and all this sort of stuff. We've got that now. We wanted someone in charge of the club who has a historical presence in being good at negotiation. We've got that now. We wanted trusted backers. We wanted proper investors. We've got all that right now. And I'm seeing, and it is a good barometer, really, because all my mates who are actually Leeds fans are messaging me the exact same things. You know, it's when are we going to start getting transfers in? What's going on? Why is it so quiet? And I do understand it, because we've been burnt, and as Leeds fans, we have to recognise that we have been burnt. It has crippled us a little bit. Being Leeds United fans, with the Sinistera deal, with the Tyler Adams deal, with Verba, these are all recently, you know, deals of which we were turning around and thinking at points we were going to have Tyler Adams. Verba was the poster boy in the pre-season. He was going to be our centre back, and then you know, it felt like almost minutes later he was heading for Borussia Mönchengladbach. Sinistera, who it was reasonably quiet. You know, he had a great performance away at Ipswich Town, and he pretty much single-handedly won us that game in a lot of respects. And then a week later, it was chaos. He was taking Leeds to court. It was a nightmare situation. So I understand why Leeds fans are a little bit perturbed by this, of course, and I'm in the same boat. But I do think on the 17th of July, how we're speaking, I'm hearing they're shysters. I'm hearing they're taking us, they're stripping our assets so they can leave and take all the money. That could be right, but let's just apply a little bit of sensible logic there. Why would they do that from a business perspective? The 49ers enterprises are representing a global franchise which has been built over a mass amount of years. They've built up relationships, they've built up connections, but on top of everything else, everybody, they've built up an almost worldwide global brand. Why would they associate themselves with a club like Leeds United, with such an important figurehead of not just the enterprises, but the 49ers in Parag Marathe, and just completely asset strip and look to make a quick buck and then leave? I just don't see the point in that. A quick buck, yep, okay, but how far is that going to get them? I feel with the 49ers, with how they've always spoken, how they've been articulate about it, it's always been about legacy. When Parag's spoken in the Bay Area, when he's spoken in Leeds, when he's spoken across Europe about the club, it's been about legacy. So unless he's just blatantly lying, I feel it's a little bit naive, and I understand football is about taking sides, but I really feel that it's a little bit naive to just think because we've had a slow start and because Archie Gray has been sold, suddenly they're shysters, they're here to take us for a run, and that's it. It just feels like there's not the perfect plan of owning a football club. And when we get owners in who are going about the business in a quiet, methodical way, of which we've always wanted, because we've not wanted to be embarrassed in front of the public eye, which we have been with previous owners for now on 2 decades, then fans are upset. The proof in the pudding is what they did last year on a limited time, projection. And we were on a restraint, really, weren't we? We had Farker, who had to come in at a certain date. They were interviewing managers for ages, we know that. But then they had to get players in quickly. And whatever we say, however we paint this, they might have lost in the playoff final, but they still finished in the playoff final with 90 plus points with that recruitment, with the turbulent season that we had last season. Now, logic applied, it's going to be a weaker division this season, 100%. Now, do I get a little bit panicky about it? Of course I do. Naturally, you're a football fan. Of course you do. We're not seeing signings coming in. Of course you do. But so far, everybody, I comment on the rumour mill. It is the rumour mill. Junior Firpo, he might go, he might not go. This is what it's all about. You look at Rasmus Christensen with the 49ers looking for 15 million euros for him. That's exquisite. It's really good business. Now, I'm hearing and I'm seeing certain fans potentially, look, I'm trying to help, I guess, ease a few bits of strain on the mental state, but I'm hearing some fans actually believe that we will sell Summerville for 20 million euros, which is reported when it comes to Stade Rennes. But then Leeds are hustling Frankfurt for 15 million euros for Rasmus Christensen. So that would mean the transfers of both Christensen and Summerville would be 5 million euros apart. Guys, that's just not going to happen. I don't care what forum, what ITK says, whatever, the weather, rain or shine. We know that will not happen. There is not a 5 million euro valuation split between Christensen and Summerville. And if there is, look, we can all pack up and go home, because that just makes absolutely zero sense. In what world is Archie Gray when he's 3 years apart from Crescencio Summerville and hasn't had the impact whatsoever that Summerville has this season in terms of consistency and output? How is he worth over 20 million euros more than Summerville? That makes no sense, no logistical sense. So, look, we've seen so far, L'Equipe have mentioned it, that, Rennes and Leeds are fighting it out, or they're in negotiations for Crescent. That's fine. They might be in negotiations. They might be discussing. That doesn't mean there's going to be an agreement. That doesn't mean the 49ers and Leeds United are going to accept what Stade Rennes put up. Do I think that will happen with Stade Rennes? No, I don't. There's discussion today that apparently Summerville would be open to the move. I'm sure he would be open to negotiation. I'm sure Summerville would be open to talk to many clubs. It'd be interesting for a football player to hear the vision of A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's a footballer. Do I presume that Jorginho Rutter would have been interested to hear Brighton's proposal or Dortmund's proposal from last year. 100%. Of course he would have done. He's curious. He's a footballer. These are top clubs. Even if you don't want to believe Brighton are, they are nowadays, as are Bournemouth and many other clubs in that bracket. The point being, everybody, is let's not have this sort of existential crisis that Leeds United are being taken over and bombarded by the 49ers and their asset stripping and they're getting out for a quick buck, because it makes no business sense. No business sense unless they are turning around and just flipping Leeds for a quick buck, which really doesn't fit what the 49ers are about. But if that is the case, then, I stand to be corrected. And another thing is, if they are to flip again Crescencio Summerville for 5 million more euros than what they're looking to sell Rasmus Christensen more, and they're looking for more of a hard bargain for Rasmus Christensen than Crescencio Summerville, then I might be wrong, but that just doesn't really, to me, make much logistical sense. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. But Leeds have been linked with several left backs as well. There's a Zwol left back who is a Republic of Ireland. Let me get this correct, because this is a bit of a mouthful. He's called McNulty. And he is based in Spain. He's got Spanish heritage, but then Republic of Ireland mixed within him as well. He's called McNulty. He plays for Zwol. Left back. He's had a really good season in the Dutch league. Apparently we're linked to him, of which, once again, it's a rumour. Everyone, I can't profess to know anything about him. I've given you my targets. Ryan Manning would be right up there for me. I've mentioned this so many times. He fits Leeds down to a T. The shortlist, I've always mentioned this, and well, I used to know this at Leeds. I don't know if this is a thing still going on now, but I think it would be that players don't just sort of erase themselves from the shortlist. As I've said, Dan James being the classic example. Ryan Manning will still be on Leeds' shortlist, and with Charlie Taylor going in at Southampton, that non-Premier League player, with Charlie Taylor going there, you would suspect at least that Leeds could do something. The market value of Ryan Manning is £3 million. Would they be expecting a little bit more than that? Potentially, but then you've got bags full of experience. You've got a player who's who's got promoted last season. It makes a lot of sense to me. And yeah, we've got the links there. It was between us and Southampton last season where he went. Similar to Joel Peru, it was between us and Southampton where he went. They both chose different destinations. Ironically, who know each other's game pretty well as well. But yeah, I just think, and there's another one as well who one to keep an eye on. Another name I wanted to throw in the hat as well. Ludwig Augustinsson. He's had spells at Mallorca. He's had spells at Aston Villa, and the irony, if this one comes out, he's an experienced player. He's had a decent season. He's got 12 months left on his deal, Augustinsson, but he's at Seville. He's been at Anderlecht as well this season, but his parent club is Seville under Mr. Victor Orta. But 12 months left on his deal. We know that Victor isn't great when it comes to negotiation, so could we push the book a little bit on that? So that's probably my number one and number two pick. I'd have 100% be looking at Ryan Manning, but Augustinsson obviously spells at Mallorca, Anderlecht and Aston Villa quite recently, 30 years of age, bags full of experience, and the parent club Seville. So could Leeds do something there? Last year of his contract, little name there. But honestly, guys, my overriding message now, and I know we're going to be speaking tomorrow morning, and we're going to be speaking mornings after that, but it's to not panic. If we get to a month's time, well, if we get to 2 weeks' time, we've not brought anyone in, fair enough, but we could bring 2 more players in this week. We could bring in 5 more players in the next 10 to 14 days. That is how football works. Could I have said to you a couple of weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, that Kamara and Archie were going to leave? You'd have probably looked at me and gone, absolutely not. No chance is that going to happen. Football works in mysterious ways. Like, comment, subscribe, everybody, and I'll see you in a bit.